From Dinar Shift, this is the news that is sending ripples through the global financial community. We ask you to prepare yourself for an unprecedented report, as the developments of the past 24 hours have caused a significant stir across all major international banking sectors. For a period of many years, a considerable number of people have been waiting, scrutinizing, and patiently anticipating a major financial pivot point for Iraq's national currency. The widespread speculation and hope surrounding the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar may now be entering its critical final stages. The very signal that currency watchers have been seeking for a long time appears to have manifested, moving the topic from persistent rumor into a verified banking event that warrants serious discussion. The evidence arriving at our desks comes from a combination of sources including global banking contacts, respected financial market insiders, and experienced foreign exchange platform monitors. All of these reports align, pointing toward one extraordinary and essential development. The specialized contract rates for the Iraqi dinar have begun appearing and registering within the live interfaces of major international banking systems. This is not just another unverified piece of chatter circulating online. For those following this story for years, this system update is widely regarded as the key signal, suggesting that the long-anticipated process of revaluation could genuinely be underway, transitioning from an abstract plan into an active operation. It provides a tangible indicator of internal readiness within the global financial infrastructure. Our dedicated team has been analyzing the details to fully dissect this crucial event. Today, we will provide a comprehensive breakdown of what exactly has occurred, explaining the significance of the timing, presenting the observations of leading financial experts, and evaluating the substantial implications this could carry for the future economic landscape of Iraq, as well as its effect on the broader world of global financial markets. The complexity of this move cannot be overstated, as it represents a highly coordinated effort to integrate Iraq's currency more fully into the world economy. Understanding the technical aspects of this activation is key to grasping its importance for all parties involved. The initial flashpoint of this activity has been dubbed the 700 p.m. shock by some in the industry. Just before 700 p.m. local time yesterday, a critical sequence of financial systems began to log and display new data entries directly linked to the Central Bank of Iraq. Typically, these periodic system updates are entirely routine, occurring quietly in the background without drawing any attention. However, this specific sequence was flagged internally by monitoring systems as an anomaly of immense significance. Multiple banking and trading platforms identified the inputs as containing major rate adjustment parameters, a feature that only comes into play during periods of profound currency recalibration or fundamental monetary shifts. Within a remarkably short time frame, a flurry of cross-confirmation reports began to surface, originating from vast banking networks spanning the United States, across Europe, and throughout the Middle East. Each report independently corroborated the same core observation. Live contract rates for the Iraqi dinar were now visibly populating within international trading and financial service platforms. This particular form of currency movement has been unseen for many years, marking a substantial departure from the dinar's established trading norms. It is precisely the type of systems-level update that precedes and forecasts a major, formalized shift in a currency's global standing. The choice of time, specifically the late afternoon to evening window, is considered highly strategic in global banking operations. The critical period between 700 p.m. and 1100 p.m. Eastern Time is when the world's most sophisticated financial systems conduct their essential synchronization, refresh overnight rate data, and reconcile ledgers. It is the designated moment when banks worldwide systematically align their internal exchange rates with central banking networks, the global SWIFT messaging infrastructure, and major forex trading platforms. This window offers a necessary layer of control for a country like Iraq to introduce new, formalized currency values discreetly, allowing for confirmation and stability testing before the frenetic pace of public trading resumes the following day. Analysts are increasingly suggesting that this precise timing is not random but, in fact, aligns perfectly with the extensive testing and budget recalibration exercises Iraq's finance ministry and central bank publicly concluded just last week. This synchronicity strongly suggests that the system update was a deliberate, calculated, and coordinated maneuver, ruling out the possibility of an accidental release or an internal oversight. The meticulous nature of the rollout underscores a commitment to an orderly transition process, which is a vital component of any successful currency reform effort aiming for international recognition and market stability. To properly frame this discussion, it is crucial to clarify the meaning of these contract rates, a concept often misunderstood in the public sphere. Simply put, a contract rate represents a special pre-negotiated exchange value, distinctly separate from the future public rate. This rate is made available only to specifically approved groups and institutions that qualify for early, structured exchanges. These are not random market prices, they are higher, reserved values for designated tiers of participants, such as sovereign governments, major humanitarian organizations, and verified private entities that meet stringent criteria. These approved participants are often categorized into distinct tiers, typically including Tier 1, which represents major institutional players, Tier 2, which may include corporate groups and specific funds, and Tier 3, which often encompasses organized private groups. Finally, there is Tier 4, which includes early individual participants and registered private currency holders, a category frequently subdivided into Tier 4A and Tier 4B for processing purposes. The appearance of live contract rates within global banking systems is nearly always recognized as the penultimate step, the final activation before a currency's new, official public rate is formally declared and released to the wider market. This crucial development explains why the ripple effects have been so profound throughout the currency watching community worldwide. For many months, observers have been tirelessly scanning for definitive, technical indicators. The activation of live contract rates in multiple major banking institutions is considered by many to be an undeniable and pivotal sign. It signifies that the essential internal financial infrastructure is no longer in a planning or theoretical phase but has, in fact, been activated and is currently operational. The transition from speculation to operation is perhaps the most compelling feature of this recent event. Should these indicators prove to be the final confirmation, this event could be recognized as the beginning of what many have termed the final roll-out, or the activation phase of Iraq's new financial structure. If this assessment holds true, then the long-anticipated major currency adjustment, commonly referred to as the RV or revaluation, is likely closer to realization than even the most optimistic observers had expected. The technical readiness demonstrated by the global banking systems points toward an imminent formal announcement, pending confirmation from the Iraqi financial authorities. Inside Iraq, this technical development is being strongly supported by significant, visible domestic activity. Local media outlets across Baghdad have recently been providing coverage on statements from officials indicating that the country's comprehensive currency reform program has reached its conclusion. High-ranking personnel from Iraq's finance ministry have publicly reaffirmed the government's strategic goal to fully restore the inherent strength, reliability, and international confidence of the Iraqi dinar, an aim repeated consistently by both the prime minister and the governor of the central bank over the last few weeks. Adding further weight to the reform narrative is the practical introduction of new, lower-denomination dinar notes, which have been distributed and put into circulation in selected regions. Furthermore, the nationwide network of ATMs has been technically recalibrated, and the Iraqi banking system is now fully prepared to handle and process both the older and newer series of currency notes simultaneously. These operational steps are far from minor administrative adjustments. They are the necessary, tangible actions that a sovereign nation undertakes only when it is making the final preparations to fully integrate its currency into the international financial ecosystem as a globally recognized and trading instrument. Concurrently with these internal preparations, Iraq has been aggressively pursuing a policy of reducing its long-standing reliance on the US dollar for domestic financial transactions. Over the past several months, the Iraqi Mint has mandated that all internal contracts, salary payments across the public sector, and local trade settlements must be conducted exclusively in the Iraqi dinar, moving definitively away from the dollar. Even significant oil contracts with neighboring countries are now being formally settled in the national currency, marking a strategic shift in international payment mechanisms. This is a key part of a much broader, concerted effort by Iraq's leadership to restore full monetary sovereignty. The goal is clear: to reposition the national currency as the indispensable foundation of the Iraqi economy, rather than continuing to rely on a foreign currency for essential transactions. When this long-term policy goal is viewed in conjunction with the precise timing of the international system updates, it becomes evident that the recent activity is a highly calculated phase within a multi-year, strategic plan and not merely a spontaneous or isolated event. Financial insiders operating within major international institutions are also providing confirmation of a distinct shift on their internal trading screens. They report the activation of placeholder fields for the Iraqi dinar and notably the Vietnamese dong, a practice that is only initiated when currencies are entering the live testing or exchange readiness phase within major financial systems. Crucially, these placeholders, which are normally static and inactive, have begun to exhibit slight fluctuations, indicating that they are now dynamically linked to live market data feeds. This suggests that Iraq's new potential rate structure may already be connected to the global financial network, even if a formal, public release has yet to be finalized. Now, the focus shifts to the anticipated sequence of events. Based on established historical patterns observed during similar currency rollouts globally, the full transition usually unfolds across several defined stages. The initial stage involves banks confirming the stability and viability of the internal contract rates and reporting successful integration. Following this, an official public statement is expected from the Central Bank of Iraq or the government to formally confirm the revaluation and new public rate. The subsequent phase typically involves notification being sent to organized exchange centers, authorizing them to begin scheduling appointments. This process often begins with the highest tier groups and then systematically moves down the tiers toward the broader public phase. The final, most visible stage is when the new, official rate is displayed across major forex platforms and public exchange applications, cementing its status as the official, publicly tradable market rate. At this moment, the process appears to be firmly positioned within that critical transition window, the quiet, highly technical period between internal system activation and the official public declaration. Reports from the field suggest that several major U.S.-based banking institutions, including known players like Wells Fargo and Chase, are reportedly on high alert, actively monitoring the rate updates and finalizing preparations for potential customer notifications and exchange protocols. Furthermore, redemption centers, the designated exchange locations, are rumored to be actively testing their internal communication systems and verifying their appointment scheduling protocols. This degree of operational readiness is traditionally only reached when a major financial event is considered truly imminent, not merely theoretical. The central question dominating all discussions remains: when precisely will this transition become public and official? The answer rests solely with Iraq's central bank and government, awaiting their final decision on the timing of the announcement. Historically, in some comparable cases, the public release has followed the activation of contract rates within a window as short as 24 to 48 hours. In other past events, the confirmation and subsequent market adjustment required up to a full week. What remains undeniable is that the system is now moving, and once these internally visible rates achieve the required stability, an official government statement is the expected next step. For all observers and interested parties monitoring this moment, the most essential guidance is to maintain composure and remain dedicated to verifying information from official sources. This period will inevitably be accompanied by a wave of intense excitement and a significant volume of potentially misleading information spreading online. It is vital to prioritize verified updates from credible institutional channels only. Individuals should categorically disregard any claim from private, unverified sources that prolly exchanges, exclusive rates, or special access prior to official, comprehensive notifications being issued by established financial institutions. Legitimate financial processes are always communicated clearly and directly by reputable banks or official government sources. They never operate through unverified private chats, social media intermediaries, or online platforms. Any deviation from this professional standard should be treated with extreme skepticism. The integrity of the process is maintained only through official communication channels, a principle that remains paramount throughout this sensitive transition phase. Leading financial analysts consistently emphasize that this moment could be a profound, defining turning point for Iraq's trajectory. Following more than 2 decades of complex reconstruction and financial reform efforts, the nation's leadership has placed immense focus not just on rebuilding physical infrastructure, but on fundamentally restoring global trust and confidence in its monetary and financial system. Reclaiming the international standing of the dinar has been a consistently stated, primary goal for the country's economic future. By successfully aligning their core banking systems with global standards such as ISO 2022 protocols and integrated SWIFT messaging systems, Iraq is now technologically positioned to integrate fully and seamlessly into the global economy. This monumental effort extends far beyond a simple adjustment of currency value. It is a declaration of economic independence and a vital step toward full international recognition as a stable, sovereign financial entity in the world market. This structural transformation is the real story beneath the headline. The global implications of this development are enormous and cannot be ignored. Should Iraq successfully execute a stable transition to a fully valued, internationally tradable dinar, it could inspire and catalyze similar financial reforms in other emerging economies around the world. Nations like Vietnam, Zimbabwe, and several countries in Africa and Asia have been closely observing Iraq's challenging path and progress. A successful revaluation by Iraq would establish a powerful precedent, demonstrating that a nation can indeed rebuild from conflict, stabilize its currency, and successfully re-enter the world stage with a significantly stronger economic profile. This is why major global financial markets, currency desks, and international monitoring bodies are paying such close attention to the unfolding situation in Baghdad and on the interbank networks right now. The success of Iraq's monetary program has implications that stretch far beyond the Middle East, potentially influencing how all developing, resource-rich nations approach their own currency and fiscal policy reforms in the years to come. The world is watching to see if this model of stability can be sustained. Another crucial element that warrants serious consideration is the immense psychological impact this potential shift is having on the community of private currency holders worldwide. For years, millions of individuals have maintained a deeply held belief and hope that Iraq's currency would one day be restored to a significantly higher, more representative value. They have navigated countless false alarms, speculative timelines, and a constant torrent of online rumors demonstrating a rare level of patience and commitment to the narrative. However, this time, the prevailing sentiment is distinctly different because the indicators are now tangible, systems-based, and confirmed by banking infrastructure. The banking systems are verifiably updating, core central bank policies have been publicly confirmed and enacted, and the timing of the technical activation aligns perfectly with Iraq's multi-year reform schedule. This confluence of internal reform and external system readiness provides unprecedented weight and credibility to the significance of what is currently transpiring in the digital financial space. The 7:00 p.m. timing, as highlighted earlier, was certainly not a matter of chance. Experts are in broad agreement that Iraq meticulously selected that specific window to synchronize its internal moves with global rate update cycles while simultaneously maintaining necessary discretion and control over the process. The entire move was calculated to minimize market disruption and maximize system integrity and stability. This level of meticulous planning strongly reflects sophisticated international coordination, likely involving major global financial partners and oversight bodies to ensure the transition is executed as smoothly as possible, a hallmark of major currency shifts. For Iraq itself, the stakes are about much more than a numerical change on a digital screen. This is fundamentally about national pride, long-term economic stability, and sustainable growth. By decisively strengthening its currency's global perception and value, Iraq can significantly enhance its attractiveness to foreign direct investment, boost internal economic confidence, and contribute to the stabilization of domestic prices. The ripple effect will be felt across small businesses, importers, and every ordinary citizen once the dinar's true economic strength is fully recognized on the world stage. The potential for economic transformation is immense, redefining Iraq's regional status from a recovering economy into a potential financial anchor within the Middle East. Meanwhile, for the rest of the world, the shockwave generated by this development will reverberate through global markets, prompting immediate action. Currency analysts and traders are already engaged in recalculating the potential impacts on global oil pricing, regional trade agreements, and the stability of various investment portfolios currently linked to the region. If Iraq's revaluation successfully initiates a broader, global trend toward asset-backed currencies and away from pure external debt dependency, it holds the potential to fundamentally reshape how nations measure and express economic power in the coming decades. This moment could be viewed as a pivotal catalyst, one that strongly encourages other developing nations to secure and strengthen their own national currencies through concrete, verifiable economic reforms rather than relying solely on the fluctuations of the US dollar or accumulating ever-increasing external obligations. As we collectively wait the very next official declaration, one fact stands absolutely clear: all the necessary pieces are systematically falling into their predetermined places. Iraq's internal systems are aligned and operational. The global banking infrastructure is synchronized and showing active placeholders, and the specialized contract rates are visibly present on interbank screens. The essential foundation has been meticulously laid for what could historically be recorded as one of the most significant and orderly currency adjustments in modern global financial history, a moment we are all witnessing in real time. The fundamental guidance for everyone following this story remains constant: stay fully informed, keep your feet firmly on the ground, and actively resist emotional or impulsive reactions to unverified noise. The coming days and weeks are highly likely to generate significant headlines, but patience and a focus on official confirmation will be the key to navigating this period successfully. The true turning point will be marked by two distinct actions: when Iraq's central bank issues its official, public declaration, and when the global forex platforms officially reflect and display the new, revalued rate for all to see. Before we conclude this special developing report, it is vital to remember that this moment transcends mere discussions of speculative investment or personal wealth. It is about actively witnessing the financial and sovereign transformation of an entire nation. A nation that has fought determinedly to rebuild its core institutions and fully reclaim its financial independence. If the persistent and consistent reports from inside the banking world hold true, we may be looking directly at the dawn of a remarkable new financial era, not just for the people of Iraq, but for the countless global participants who have been watching this complex, years-long journey unfold alongside it. And with that, we will leave it for today. This story is actively unfolding at a rapid pace, and we remain committed to bringing you every single verified and confirmed update as soon as it becomes available. Please ensure you remain connected to Dinar Shift for the latest, factual developments on this historic, global currency shift. The wait for this definitive moment has been long, and the path to this point has been challenging, but if the latest banking reports are confirmed, the finish line, the final public resolution, is potentially now in sight. Until our next update, remain vigilant, stay hopeful, and always remember that true history often announces itself not with loud fanfare, but with the quiet, powerful synchronization of financial systems.